From one parent to another, I am so very sorry your child is struggling. And if your child is struggling, it usually means you are struggling too, which can be draining emotionally, mentally, and physically. While I do not know your story or your child's story, I am guessing there have been many times where you have felt that you are at your wit's end. There may have been times when you felt like you were at a complete loss, often not knowing what to do to make things better. Perhaps you even lost confidence in your ability to be a parent, or even to feel like you have failed your child.
I say this all because you are not alone, even when at times you may feel like you are. In addition to families in your community going through similar situations, the wonderful people who make up the Birth to 3 program are there for you and your child. They will help you understand what your child is struggling with and how you can help them.
I am Antoine Robertson, Director of Waukesha County Health and Human Services. As a representative of Waukesha County, I want to recognize our partnership with Lutheran Social Services and the Birth to 3 program. We have worked together for over 25 years. The Birth to 3 program embraces the county's values listed in our strategic plan. These include having client-focused dedication, professionalism, and commitment, looking for the strengths of individuals and families, and using resources in an optimal and cost-effective way. Our staff is committed to supporting families with children under the age of 3 who have developmental delays and disabilities. Through our Family Center approach, we provide support to your family, education about development, and assistance in understanding the best ways to help with your child's development.
The reason that we came to Birth to 3 is when Wes was 2 years old and went to the doctor's office, he still wasn't talking. He was pointing at stuff and squealing, but not very verbal for his age. So our pediatrician suggested the Birth to 3. Come here, buddy. And we called and got our first intake appointment, and we put down a game plan for what we were going to do in the next year to try to get Wes more verbal. And they were really, really sweet and awesome. We had his grandparents here, my mom here, and they answered every question and addressed every concern. They immediately took to his very special personality and were very understanding of he hadn't been to daycare, he didn't know how to socialize with people outside the family particularly. That makes it sound like the mafia, but that wasn't it at all. They were very understanding of where he was at emotionally and worked with us just fantastic.
The way that I felt about having to contact Birth to 3 is that I wasn't exactly sure what to expect with it. But it was just nice to know that there was a program available to help us as new parents with a child with, a disability, and we had no idea where to go with that because we didn't know that Peyton had Down syndrome prior to her being born. So it was nice to know that we had a place to go.
I didn't have too many expectations right off the bat of Birth to 3. I had heard about different experiences that people have around the country, and so I didn't really know exactly how Wisconsin was going to work or Waukesha County was going to work. But I was just hoping that someone would help guide me with what I needed to do to best help my son.
I kind of expected, somebody's going to come in and start telling us, this is how you got to do it, this is what you do, this is what you do. And it really wasn't like that. They came in and they worked with him instead of telling us this is how we have to do everything. It was not what I expected. It was really nice.
Don't spit.
We work with each family individually, develop strategies and activities, and adaptations to increase your child's ability to participate in his or her daily routines and your family activities. The law requires Birth to 3 services to be provided in your child's natural learning environments. Our staff can provide support to you and your child in your home and in your community. The Birth to 3 program that supports your family includes early childhood special education teachers, speech language pathologists, occupational therapists, and physical therapists. Parents are valued, team members as well.
So at the first meeting, a couple therapists and our service coordinator came out, and we mostly just sat at the kitchen table and talked, and I gave them a bit of background about our family, and they told me a bit about what they did and how they would try to help, because my son at the time was only about 6 weeks old.
So right from the get-go, the first therapist that we had was Peyton's physical therapist, and I was just very pleased with her home visits. She was very helpful with giving us tips on how to help Peyton advance in her motor skills and everything like that. And since we didn't know, what to expect with Peyton's development, it was very, very nice to have a professional letting us know what milestones she was going to be reaching, if she was meeting those, what we needed to work on. And she actually advanced beyond physical therapy very quickly. So then we had our general educator come in, and I was more than pleased with our visits with her.
The home visits changed a little bit as my son went through the program, but initially, if I remember correctly, initially with the home visits, it was mostly just, setting my son down on his play mat type thing or down on the floor, and having our physical therapist Lee take a look at what was he doing, how much strength did he have yet. And gradually, as we went through, especially that first year, she would just help guide me with what types of play and activity Matthew could be doing to strengthen the muscles that were most weak with him, because one of his biggest issues is his low muscle tone. And so essentially it really came down to playing with him, but what kind of things could I do to play with him that would help him the most in developing the strength that he needed.
And also Peyton had a heart defect when she was born, so we were helping her develop the strength so that she could make it through the surgery successfully, which she did, and that was wonderful. And so then we only had visits once a month because Peyton was doing so well.
Home visits were really informal. Linda came in and first couple minutes, hi, how's your day going? How's Wesley doing? How's he been? What happened last week? Because our visits were every other week, and it was, so what's happened in the last week? What happened the week before after I left? Okay, how's he doing today? Is he
Having a good day.
Is he having a good day? Is he crying? Is he pouty? And she would tailor all the lessons to his moods.
And I know that by the end of the Birth to 3 experience that we just had, it was like really sad. I was like, tears in my eyes to say goodbye. And luckily, we're managing now to even do some things beyond age 3 and stick with that. But it's really like this person is a big cheerleader for your child and the other people that work with them too, whichever ones are there. And it's just great that they know your child's strengths and weaknesses, and they get to know your child's personality and then can help work with that. Because a lot of the sessions, especially at home, are primarily, playing with your child and seeing what your child likes to play, and then what kind of activities can you do to strengthen that play and help them learn new muscle groups to use, or whatever the case may be.
And then at the very end, we started with speech, just a little bit. So we did the Hannon program, and that was just so helpful with helping Peyton's vocabulary develop. So I was very, very pleased with all of that.
The focus of intervention is to help you with your child's development and learning throughout the day, such as during mealtime, bath time, play, and outings. The Birth to 3 staff uses coaching as an evidence-based learning strategy for adults to promote your competence and confidence in supporting your child's learning and development.
So what surprised me the most about Birth to 3 is the tools that her therapist would give me as a parent. In hindsight, they all seemed very very much like common sense, but they were things that you don't think about in your daily life on how to help your child develop. So I was very surprised at how little tasks that they would give us to practice with Peyton and how quickly she would hit her next milestones. And so it was fantastic. And it was nice so that at each of our next visits, we would be able to have this whole list of new things that Peyton was doing, and our therapists were then very excited to see her development and her progress as well. So I was very surprised with how all these little tools just really helped Peyton.
Birth to 3 has made the difference with our family in that it gives me, as a first-time mom, the confidence, especially having a child with a need. I'm able to kind of proceed with what I'm questioning with confidence, and I've seen such a difference in her development. It's amazing.
For our family, it's been really nice. There was usually once every couple of months, my older 3 children were at home when the therapist would come over, or I could take them to activities, and it was nice because the kids got to see, oh, what can I do to help my little brother, and when I'm playing with my little brother, and they're at an age where they like to be teachers and that kind of thing, but they're also, big cheerleaders for their brother, so they really liked participating in things and knowing how they could help and what things would be fun and useful to him. And I think really the program just helped guide my husband and I, and knowing that we mostly could help our child by having fun with him and playing with him and just guiding him, and we didn't have to have a rigid set of concerns, because when we first got that diagnosis, it was really scary. You have a lot of people telling you the things your child might never do, and so it's great to be working with Birth to 3 and having people remind you of all the things your child can do and is capable of learning to do.
The biggest difference that I have noticed is that we've gotten from Birth to 3 is being able to talk to other people like outside of our immediate family and what they can do to assist Peyton in her progress with their interactions with her. It gave us almost like a professional guideline to help them interact with Peyton so that she could interact with them then. In Peyton's speech therapy, they gave us, different exercises and different ways to speak with her, so that when like my parents or my in-laws, when they were talking to her, if they would use these methods that we learned in our speech therapy, then they were now able to communicate appropriately with her. And it took away a lot of frustration on both our end and on her end as well.
I used to joke how Birth to 3 made the hugest difference for my family. I used to joke when Wes was like 1.5 years old, was that I'm used to going to work and having people point and yell at me, and I wasn't going to come home and take it from a 2-year-old. And I only said that half tongue in cheek. The biggest thing that Birth to 3 gave to us is he was able to communicate.
Yeah.
I could come home and he could say, please, more banana. Or all done, no more, all done. And being able to communicate with him and being able to understand what this meltdown, because that was it. He was really frustrated before we were able to communicate. Everything was a meltdown. Even if it was, dust motes flying. He couldn't communicate. And once Linda helped him figure out how to get over that one little jump, it just snowballed.
He used to be really, really moody, and now the only mood he's got is happy, because now he can talk and communicate.
Yeah, and one of the funniest kind of stumbling blocks was with the people more peripheral in his life, like his grandparents and my mom and his cousins, who weren't as familiar with the signs, that would need us to translate. And that was kind of fun because his 2 cousins, who are about 4.5 years older than him, their mother is a deaf ed teacher. And so they would look and say, okay, so what is he saying? And would have people communicating for translating for him. So a whole village was translating for Wes for the 6 months before he started to get words, and he was just strictly using sign.
When your family participates in the Birth to 3 program, you will find our services reflect the following guiding principles. First, a child's optimal development depends on them being viewed first as children and second as children with disabilities or disorder. Second, a child's greatest resource is their family. And lastly, parents are partners in any activity that serves the children.
I'd like to tell new families not to be scared or worried about contacting them, that everything that they do has a purpose and a need for your child, and they're never judging, they're never pushing, they're always there to make sure that you're doing the best thing for your child and that your child is getting the best thing.
When you get a diagnosis of whatever kind it might be, that your child has some kind of disability, some kind of delay, whether it's a speech thing or a physical thing, it's really scary. You don't want there to be any added challenges for your child or anything. So I would say don't be afraid to ask for help and to get guidance, and ask plenty of questions. And if you're doubting something, definitely speak up and ask, I think.
The biggest thing that I would like to tell new families is to keep your expectations realistic. Since we didn't know what to expect when Peyton was developing, you kind of want somebody to come in from the outside and come in with a magic wand and fix all of the problems that your child may have, but that may not be what is actually going to happen. So I think that what we really valued was when Birth to 3 came in and we were speaking with the therapist, they were giving us as parents the resources to help our child. So then the visits with the therapist were not going to be all of Peyton's issues were going to be dealt with in that one visit. It was a work in progress that, that every single day we had to put in the time and we had to have the patience with her. But in the end, it all has worked out really, really, really well for her. So we're very pleased with that. So
Don't be scared about the Birth to 3 program. Go for it. It will help. It will change your kid's life. And it's a good way to spend quality time with your kid that you might not always get.
Any other thoughts you'd like to share? Or anything we didn't cover?
I cannot say enough about the staff at Birth to 3. They have been kind, patient, thoughtful,
Understanding.
yeah,
Very understanding.
considerate. If one of them had pink eye at one point and said, "Hey, I'm not coming." Wes had the sniffles, and we called and said, "Hey, we don't want to contaminate any other kids." Very sweet, very non-judgmental, really, really, really kind people who really want the best for you and your family and will do whatever they can to help you get there.
I think the only thing I'd really like to share is that as a new mom and a mother to a premature child, I wasn't sure how her development was going to go, and Birth to 3 has really, really helped us out. They've really given me the confidence to parent my daughter the way that I know that she needs.
I guess mostly I'm just really thankful that we had the positive experience we had, that we had all the different people helping us that we did, because I learned so much from everyone, and just glad the program existed for us.
And one thing I noticed about them is I have never seen a group of people that really, really love their jobs like these people. It's amazing. I hope someday I can find a job like that.
That's true.
Working with the Birth to 3 program has been a true blessing in our lives. We will forever be grateful, as they have not only helped us be the best parents we can be for our child, but they have forever bettered his life.
My hope is that, with your new knowledge and tools, to help your child and yourself, change will occur in time and milestones will be achieved. Things will get easier and you and your child will struggle less. But even more importantly, you will understand your child and know what to do to help them, which allows you to become an even better parent.